people. What's up? Hope you guys and girls are enjoying yourself. I think we're glitching a little bit on YouTube. Hope you guys and girls are enjoying your day. It's another beautiful fucking day. They're sick. And it's Tuesday. Okay, so today we're gonna stray away from talking about normally what we talk about on the Mic podcast. And normally what we talk about is health tips, mindset tips, things like that. But today I decided I'm gonna just step out of my shell a little bit and tell those of you, the new followers, who already know, and just like give myself a proper introduction. And hopefully, to this live stream, you feel like you know me at least for 5 years, following me for that time. So when you join, let me know how your day is going. Again, I don't like sitting ducks. If you're the type of person to show up and not say welcome to tune out, because that's the point of the live stream. Otherwise, you could just listen to the podcast. Okay. So if you tune into the live stream, I want your attention. I want your interaction. I want you to communicate. I want you to engage. The point of the live stream. All right. So without wasting any time, we will be diving into the podcast very shortly. Again, I'm going to let you know, if you're new to these live streams, you have the opportunity to drop questions, and I will read them at the end of the podcast recording. I will not be reading anything or afterwards. All right. Does that make sense? That makes sense. Just drop a fire comment down below. You don't actually have to say anything. You can drop emojis too. That fucking okay. Episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your host, IFBB PRO Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. And today we'll be connecting on a deeper level. You deserve to know essentially who I am. I'm not as unrelatable as you think. Like when you look at fitness pros, when you look at people that are on Instagram, when you look at people that have this like physique that you aspire to, I guess, embody, or like that inspires you, you look at them as like this person that is so far, far, far away. You know what I mean? And that's not essentially what it is, because Instagram has that like ability to shelter out all the negative things that really go on in that human being's life, because they're a human being. Like they're a real human being, right? It's sort of like when you look at millionaires, you're inspired by millionaires. Okay. It looks so fucking unattainable. It looks so far out of reach that it just doesn't feel like you can connect, right? So my intention today, in today's episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast, is to bridge that gap, is to give you guys and girls the opportunity to connect, okay, and understand me on a deeper level. So I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable here, and I'm going to tell you the truth about who I am. Okay, but before we dive in, I want to let you know that you are welcome to join the Meathead Monsters Club. It's a free Facebook community where you get the opportunity to meet other meatheads like myself, okay, and yourself probably. If you're a meathead, you're listening to this anyway. All right, so don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support if you got value, or if you get value some point in time throughout this episode. And I see you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, okay? All right, that's out the way. Introduction's out the way. Let's break it down. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, every jacked person on social media is like unrelatable in my opinion, and not just jacked people, like millionaires too, like the Grant Cardones. Not necessarily Gary Vaynerchuk, because he's very a kind, giving, loving person, but at the same time, what he's amassed, like in terms of his social media, is something that people look at it and they view it and idolize it like a celebrity. Like this person is like, they must not have problems. They must not suffer the way that I suffer. And like, they probably never get sad. They probably, maybe have had some bad things go on in their life, but they don't act like it and things like that. And they just seem so like hard to relate to. Like if that sounds sort of accurate, like just give me a silent nod if you're watching the replay, or drop a fire comment below if you're listening to this on the live. Like, is that something that you guys and girls resonate with? Like when you see people on social media that are crushing it, that have the fucking dream body, the cars, the everything, the house, and all that stuff, the money, it just seems like you can't connect with that. You know what I mean? And it's not like you have to, but some of us want to. I mean, we spend most of our time on social media anyway, right? So it's like, why spend that much time on social media talking to strangers? Okay. And just to break it down, the reason why I really want to like give you the truth about who I am and just introduce myself or reintroduce myself to the new followers is because I want you guys and girls to understand that who I am, or who I'm becoming, is not that different from who you are and who you might be becoming. Okay. So, like, as a pro bodybuilder, I feel like I'm pretty unrelatable to most of you guys. And the truth is, we're not that different. And the thing is this too, like, it's not even just being a pro bodybuilder, it's like just everything. Like I'm 23, I've got a successful business. I'm a natural professional bodybuilder. I just did things that honestly, conventionally speaking, like most guys my age don't do or wouldn't have been able to do. And the select few that have done it are amongst the 1%, at least in when it comes to doing things in bodybuilding, right? So I already feel like an outcast when it comes to the general population. Like when I go to the club and all that stuff, there are bodybuilders and all that stuff around, but it just feels different because I'm so young. You know what I mean? Like I feel there's like a disconnect. And just a funny little story here. I was actually at the club last weekend and I was wearing my undershirt, and the security kept heckling me to put on my shirt because girls kept coming from the other booth and into my friend's booth. I was with the promoters. I know the promoters, and the other promoters got jealous and shit. And I just want to let you know that no matter if you're fat or if you're fucking jacked, there's always going to be somebody hating on your ass. But anyway, that's a little side story we don't need to spend too much time on. But again, guys and girls, let's get back on track. We're not that different. We're really not that different. And here's why. Okay. So, since again, and like all week, if you've been following my content, if you, maybe this is the content that even got you to my page in the first place through TikTok or through YouTube or wherever I posted it, you've noticed I've been calling out men that are out of shape that are running away from their emotions like all week, like seriously. And I think it's time that, honestly, just to keep it a stack, I think it's time that I roast myself to show you that I'm not as perfect as you may think. And yes, when I'm roasting these guys, I'm doing it for their betterment. I want them to actually get better, right? So I'm not doing this because, I view myself like on a moral high horse and like I'm fucking better than you because I'm doing like, no, I'm in a sense, you might view me that way, but I will leverage that to make you better, not to fucking step on you to belittle you, right? I'll use what I have to wake you the fuck up. That's essentially why I make the content that I do. And that's essentially why you're even listening to the Meathead on the Mic podcast and why I decided to even create it. Okay. So again, I'm not as perfect as you may think. So let's take a stroll down memory lane. Okay, like memory lane. Okay, so I'm 23 now. Let's go back almost 10 years ago. Back in my high school days, guys and girls, I was an absolute total shithead. Like absolute. And some of you guys and girls that still follow me from back then can actually attest to this. Okay, some of you guys and girls that know me from my past, some of you guys and girls that know me from when I was, growing up through high school know that I was an absolute shithead. It's just true. Okay. And I'm not telling you guys and girls this to, relive an old story. I'm just, again, as I said, telling you the truth about who I am, where I came from, and how I'm getting to where I'm going, just like you are. Okay. So, again, it's time to get vulnerable. I was a high school dropout at the age of 15. Okay. I was working, a couple of jobs to pay for the sports that I wanted to compete in, like football and wrestling. That didn't really work out too well. Well, the wrestling did, but other things happened and I, wasn't able to just pursue that. I used to fight a lot. I used to steal a lot and I used to party like a motherfucker. Like when I say party, Project X party. If you haven't watched Project X, go watch Project X because that's what it was. Several drugs on a daily basis. And my partying was actually so bad that the high school teachers knew when I was going to be throwing a party before the weekend even hit. Before most of my people that I invited even knew that there was a party, the teachers did because word would spread so fast. And that's pretty much the type of kid that I was. I was the kid that your parents told you to stay away from. I was the kid who lived in the principal's office, dead ass. Okay. And girls, quote unquote, hated me because I was a serial fuckboy. I mean, they hated me only when they got, they got found out in public that they were messing with me because they realized I was a sleazeball and shit. But anyway, that's kind of the kid I was. Okay. And if you're listening to this and you're like in a place in your life where you're just fucking underperforming, you're making mistake after mistake, and you just feel like you can't get your ass out of that rut, understand I was in that rut for almost fucking 10 years. Okay. And that was the early portion of my life. And I was still able to get where I'm going, which is now as a successful business owner and the head coach of the Natural Nomad Academy, a natural IFBB pro, an inspiration to so many, and so many other things that I'm working on in the back end, right? Of like just who I want to be, what I want to do, aside from just business and training. Like I love acting. And one day I hope to get into it, but that's another episode for another day. Okay. So now I'm 23. At 23, as they said, I've made a complete on behind the scenes. So like the point of this today, like what makes this so important, the reason why it's so important for me to tell you guys the truth, especially if you haven't been following me my whole life or you don't, or your whole life and you don't know who I am, you never met me in person, is because I am the living example or one of many living examples of how you can go from zero to hero, from rags to riches in your own way. Like, no, you don't have to be a pro bodybuilder to be successful. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, to be successful, like you're gonna have your own path, like 100%. But it's always gonna be better than the path that you're on now if you're willing to run towards the pain. Okay. Let me just give you guys and girls a little story about my mentor, Brian Mark. Actually, two of my mentors, Brian Mark and Cole Lewis de Silva. Okay, so Brian Mark was raised in a trailer park. He was raised in a lifestyle where essentially, out of everybody, he was like literally the black sheep. All of his siblings were white. His mother's white and all that stuff, and his dad was black and his dad was absent. And he was like this black kid amongst all the white people, a literal ostrich. And as he grew up, he got addicted to drugs, started stealing, and all this crap. And like you'll notice a theme here. These people, and I look up to Brian so much, go through so much shit and then run towards the pain, deal with the addictions, with the drugs, deal with the bad habits like the stealing, and removing themselves from the people in their lives that were keeping them there, and end up creating something that's just fucking like polarizing, that changes lives, right? And I've been working with him for 2 years plus, right? And just to know that he came from something like that, and now he's like a seven-figure business owner is absolutely bananas. And when I learned about that, when he told us the truth and he sort of like opened up, told us the truth about him and got a little bit vulnerable, that really opened my eyes and made it a little bit more relatable as to like what is possible for someone like me who literally had a similar beginning to Brian, right? And same for Cole. He was addicted to Percocets and he was an iron worker, right? And he was just doing the same shit day in, day out, addicted to drugs, ran towards the pain. And now he's the business partner of Brian Mark, right? An equal business partner at that. So they're both making seven figures, which is just absolutely nuts. But looking at where they came from, like that's what's so fucking important. That's truly what made me, really want to dig myself out of that mental hole of like, fuck, I've been a shitty person my whole life. I've been a thief. I've been a fighter. I've been like, this bad kid. I've been like a fucking man whore, all this shit. And it made me just stop wanting to tell myself that story anymore. Like that was one of the many reasons. Then The Rock Johnson, his story with $7 in his pocket, getting arrested and all that. Like every single person that we look up to on social media, or at least most people on social media look up to, have gone through or are currently going through what you're going through right now. Okay, so that's something you have to take into accountability here. You have to understand that, digest that, download it into your brain. This is the part of the movie where everything fucking sucks for you. And as you move forward, in. So, guys, rip yourself out of it, run towards the pain because there's suffering in life, regardless. You're either going to suffer because of your pain or there's going to be pain because of suffering, and suffering in the fact that you got to wake up early to go to work, suffering the fact that you got to put in extra hours if you want to run your business, suffering the fact that you got to do more than your competitors if you want to win and get your fucking IFBB Pro card. There's suffering no matter what. Pain and suffering will always exist. Okay, but are you going to run to it or are you going to run from it? Because depending on what direction you decide to run, that's going to be your outcome. Like your outcome lies on the other side of that fence. Make sense? Again, if I can go from an absolute degenerate shithead, thief, fighter, womanizer to now living my life, you can absolutely do it too. 100%. Like everybody's story starts that way. Period. And honestly, you might be able to do it better than me. And as a matter of fact, I pray that you do. And everybody that's listening to this, I pray that this fucking wakes you up and makes you want to do, achieve what you want to achieve. And I hope that you achieve it better than I have. That's the point of me coming out here and delivering it and waking up and being of service to you guys. Because this type of shit is the stuff that got me off of my ass. I used to sneak at work, one headphone in and put my toque over it while I was working. And I'd listen to the podcasts of who are now my mentors before I even hired them. And just listening to what they were saying day in, day out, gave me what I needed to help me build my online coaching business. But aside from that, helped me realize the mindset that is required in order to transform myself from who I was to who I am now becoming. Does that make sense? Again, guys and girls, I'm ecstatic to share the truth about myself to you because the amount of joy that I have now compared to when I was like an angry, teen living in a fucking broken home is like just unbelievable. It's incomparable. The number of people that I've inspired, the number of people that have inspired me, man, I wouldn't trade it for a damn thing. Like, look, men and women, guys and girls, meatheads, and I don't know what the female version of meathead is, but y'all just meatheads. All right. I didn't know I had it in me. I felt just like you listening to this right now. I felt literally just like you when I was working, right? I would sneak in that podcast episode in my ear, and I was in your position. I felt what you're feeling. Okay. I was lost. I was confused. And I was destined for a life of misery, or so I thought. But guys and girls, listen to this and listen to this clearly. If you don't do the hard shit every single fucking day with tears in your eyes, regardless of being tired, hurting inside because someone died or your heart is broken, then you can achieve your own version of greatness. As I said, your own version of greatness doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It doesn't have to be running a fucking seven-figure business. It doesn't have to be anything along those lines. It just has to make you happy and different from the shithead that you are right now. And forgive me for saying that term, but you feel bad about the way you are right now. And it's because you're running away from pain and it's time to fucking run towards it. Okay. You too can achieve your own version of greatness. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes anymore. I still do. Shit, I'm 23 and I'm still learning, just like you. But one thing's for sure, I'm not perfect and neither are you. Embrace your mistakes so you can elevate them into your hidden glory. Again, guys and girls, remember this episode. I hope this one hit. Download this one into your brain. You need to sit with this one. Honestly, you might have to replay it again just to get it down into your soul. All right. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Again, thank you so much for your precious time and attention. All right. Do not forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support. Tag me. I want to see that you're supporting the Meathead on the Mic podcast. All right. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. What's up, people? Podcast is recorded. We got 1.1 thousand likes on TikTok. I appreciate y'all. Josh, what's good? Core, hello. A homie says, Sane, Big Dre Day and Jelani. We go way the fuck back. We go way back. Who are you? Give me your name if you're comfortable with that. Thing, what's good? Veronica Jack, I appreciate the follow. Much love. Jenica, thank you for joining. I'm fucking sweating right now. I'm on fire right now. Holy shit. All right, people. I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Yeah, I'm seeing some people from high school that tuned in. Yo, what's good, man? Raj, you the GOAT? No, you're the GOAT, bro. Appreciate you. One of the clients I used to work with at the Natural Nomad Academy. Fucking GOAT. Movement flows. What's happening? Yoshi, what's good? I appreciate the fire. I appreciate you for not being a sitting duck. Dre says, 100%, man. Can you name some of the mentors that you used to listen to? On my path on escaping the matrix. Smiley face. This shit helped get out of bed every single day. Yo, dope. I fucking appreciate that, man. Like real shit. So I'll tell you them if you're still here and if you're still listening. So Brian, Mark, and Cole Lewis de Silva. So they actually do have their own podcasts. Hence the reason why I fucking decided to start doing podcasts too. Brian's podcast is called Change Lives, Make Money Online Trainer Podcast. And Cole de Silva's podcast is Wake Up with the Wolf. They're both on Spotify. They're both on Apple Podcasts. Plug them in. Shameless plug. Also, one person that I did not mention the whole entire time who's like, I'm secretly, you know what I mean? Like, she's one that I keep close to home. Whenever I do cardio in the morning, I listen to her. I actually put her on my stories. Her name is Natasha Storm or Natasha Starcheski. She goes by so many other names. Just Nat. Just call her Nat. She's got a podcast called Get Woke or Stay Broke. You need to listen to that. It doesn't even matter if you want to open a business or run a business or anything like that. It just fucking matters. You know what I mean? She talks about shit that you need to listen to. And when you listen to it, it will hit. It will hit. All right. So people, guys, girls, I really do appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you motherfuckers have the sickest Tuesday of your goddamn life. We are signing out. Cheers, yo. Boom.